What's up, you guys? Awan Groundwalker here. I can kind of see you guys in the camera, but we're taking a look. Finally, it's been so long because of tracking, or not even tracking issues, shipping issues and payment issues, and this guy's been delayed, and I haven't been able to get him for a long time. But he finally came, and although there's been a ton of disappointment, which I know I'm going to share with all the collectors that have this, I'm still kind of excited to break him open and see how he is. So, without further ado, let's take a look at his packaging. This is my first ever tin that Mezco's come in. A lot of times that's what their PX or their Deluxe figures come in, are tins like this, so I'm super excited to open them up like this. I love the reflective surface. I love like the playing card almost look at this. Oh my god, this is a box I know I'm gonna keep. I love the blue on the side. And then you got the product images of Wick here, and of course the lie of the face sculpts looking so good, because they don't, sadly. So that's there. And then on this side you got the same thing, and on the top it says John Wick. This is upside down. On the bottom it also says John Wick. And yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm about to take a look at him, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts. Alright guys, taking a look at the Mezco John Wick out of the packaging, and to say this figure is a disappointment is an understatement. I am saddened, I am frustrated at Mezco for this poorly done figure. Just kind of to share something, I was talking to a friend of mine, Alex, who's on obviously a podcast mate of mine, but we were talking about this figure, and I said it's basically like a clothed Diamond Select figure. Basically the description is like a Diamond Select figure. A okay-ish head sculpt that kind of resembles but mainly doesn't resemble. An okay head sculpt and horrible articulation, but a pretty good sculpt. That is, or a pretty good look in general. That is Diamond Select, and I feel like that kind of encompasses this figure. The head sculpts are meh at best. They don't really look like Keanu Reeves, though they kind of look like the character John Wick a little bit. They kind of resemble. The articulation's awful, completely awful, and the overall aesthetic from afar, from different angles, looks okay. It looks decently like John Wick, but there's so much that needs to be fixed to make this. I would buy this figure for $25, $30, maybe $35. That's how much, just the figure itself. We're not talking about the props and everything and the accessories and guns he comes with, but just the figure itself is worth that much in my opinion. Easily, hands down, this figure is horrible. So let's get into first his articulation, because again, we do the new review style, and this is what we like to do first, because I can really give you guys the nitty gritty and kind of just show you how disappointed I am with this guy. So let's talk about it. His articulation. His head, because it's the head and neck combo, can only look up that much, which is horrible. It's horrible. It can look down that much, which isn't as bad, but still pretty bad. And it stretches the tie. And then it has some pivot, so that's at least nice. It has pivot. The arms can go that high up, but the way the jacket is kind of sewn. Let me turn this up for you guys so you guys can really see the crevices and everything. Sorry, I look really pale white right here. The way the jacket has these shoulder pads and just the way they tailored it, it looks really awkward when you get them up this high, so you really have to hide it, so that's weird. It can go, the jacket really hinders it going high up. It really pulls against you, so you gotta be very careful, and it looks really weird because again, the way they sewed it, the way they did the jacket with the shoulder pads looks awful. Then he does not have a bicep swivel, so be careful about that. He has single jointed elbows that have probably the most amount of range you could get out of a single elbow. We've seen these, I believe, with Daredevil and Punisher. It's, you know, the Joker body elbows, I believe, nothing really special. So at least it's more than a regular single joint. So if you're looking for silver linings, there's one. The hands have normal Mezco articulation, nothing terrible there. Next, his torso articulation. He can really not bend forward at all. And his diaphragm, he can't bend back really that much at all either. That much, so not terrible, but still we're not, not great. And then, sorry guys about the camera, I think that just shook a little bit, so I'm just trying to make sure this is all in focus. Then he's got a little bit of waist swivel, so that's at least nice, but it's mainly, I think, at the diaphragm, not as much at the waist. He can kick that far forward, that far back. His leg articulation is better than the top, but the legs still look wonky because of the sculpt. But anyway, he's got his knees that are double jointed, so that's at least nice. And then he's got the standard foot articulation from Mezco. So his feet and legs aren't terrible articulation. I would actually like those if we got double jointed elbows and the tailoring on the suit wasn't awful and we got more mid-range motion, because the crunch here is just non-existent, which sucks. Really sucks. So now that we've gone over all the accessories, all the articulation, we'll look at accessories and then we'll look at sculpt. Accessories, he comes with a surplus of them, so that's at least nice. So we'll talk about those. Let me get them posed up real quick. I'm not gonna get them all in his hand because that's just so many. We'll talk about his hands first, then we'll talk about the guns, and then obviously the other accessories he comes with. See, again, when he looks like this, he's not terrible. You know, he's John Wick. He's not terrible, but he's not good. So let's keep it going. Now, taking a look at his hands first. Obviously, he comes with 2 fisted hands that come with the figure. That's pretty simple. We'll take a look at those real quick because I do have both off of him. So we'll take a look at these real quick. So he has, let me focus up real quick. There you go. Let's turn this up a wee bit so you guys can really see. But here are his fisted hands. They look good. The skin tone's fine. I like the soft. I like all the texture in the hand. The hands are perfect. I would not have wanted better hands from Mezco. I think they did a great job with the ring. No blotchy paint on there, so that's awesome. It's even raised a little bit, so I think they did the ring fantastically on each hand. I think that is to be commended because that is a very tricky detail to do. Next, he comes with basically like an open kind of hand, and then this I guess the open hand's on him right now, but it comes with this like almost ninja strike hand, like a karate chop essentially, but you can use it probably to like hit someone's neck or whatever. So it comes with that hand, and then like I said, the open hand that's on him, which I'll go over. Then he comes with his standard knife holding hand, which is his, I believe it's his like left hand, I want to say is what this is. I think. No, it's his right hand. Sorry. Knife holding right hand, obviously with a really small gap in there, and then a bigger cupped left hand with the ring on it, looking good. So this is probably for his grenades or for, different guns or magazines or resting his hand on top of the gun. That's what this hand would be used for in this case. Which looks fine. I don't really have a problem with it. And then he comes with his, this is kind of a hard one to understand what it is, but I would assume it's some sort of karate hand again. This looks kind of like a knuckle type of punch, just like that. But it can be used to probably hold something, although it's a very small gap, so I would just recommend, this being like some sort of punching hand. And then here's his open right hand, similar to the one that he comes with. However, they didn't get packed in together. They got packed in separately, so that's a little weird, but the ring looks fantastic there, so no issues with that one either. It's just kind of weird that the 2 open hands that match weren't packed in together. And then he comes with his trigger hands, which obviously we have a trigger hand on him, which I'll go over, and then here is his other trigger hand. These look good. And then I'll go over them real quick, the ones that are on the figure. These look good. Just gonna raise this. It's an open hand. Here's the trigger holding hand. So, now that we've discussed that, let's go over his guns. So, we'll go over all of them, and then we'll go over the one on Wick himself. So, we have, I believe there's 2 of these pistols. One of them's in his hand, and if I can get this out of the box, it's a lot easier to go over. But for some reason, these are packed in well, so that's at least good. So this is another gripe of the figure, are these. Now, the sculpt is always there with Mezco. The sculpt is fantastic here. This looks like a real gun. It has the detail of it. It's awesome. They could have easily added accent silver or gold or anything on this gun to make it even better, different blacks. And then for some reason, we don't got a slide back mechanism, which isn't, some guns that Mezco's been doing haven't. But almost always they have clips that come out. And this one comes with an extra clip, but it doesn't come with a removal, you can't put it in. Here it is. The bullet looks fine, this looks fine, but you can't take the clip out. This is sculpted together. It makes no sense to me. Is Mezco substituting quality for quantity? Are they, what are they doing? Did they stop now making slides that move? Are they now going with the non-movable slides because it saves them money, or they think they can get away with that? I mean, it makes no sense for us collectors to have to be punished for buying such a amazing figure. Again, no detail here. The sculpt is there, but no detail. The magazine is not removable. We get 2 of these guns, by the way, and we still get an extra magazine for it. So do they think, oh, we'll give them the extra magazine so in photos they can act like he's swapping, but we won't make it a working part? That makes no sense to me. Mezco used to be an amazing company who could really push the line of accessories and realistic guns in 1/12 scale. And they still do it with Gomez, but for some reason with these other figures coming out, they're really stopping. They're halting this I guess ultra realistic mechanism that they used to be so good at. So it disappoints me a lot. And sorry guys, it's taking a sec to get each gun out because they're freaking jammed into the spots. Not in a bad way, but they're jammed in. Okay, at least this. So this is a clip that's removable. At least this, and I'm experiencing this first time with you guys too. I'm trying to make sure this is in focus for you. There we go. So this clip is removable, so you can remove this. So at least that's something. And it comes with an extra clip. So that's what if these didn't have, if the slides didn't work and they still had clips removable, I'd be like, okay, Mezco, I kind of see you. This even has some gold and silver paint. Like, okay, Mezco, I see you. Like, this is what we deserve in every single gun. It's just at least this kind of detail and playability. Because you've given it to us in the past, there's no reason you can't do it again. Or you just, they gave us so many guns. Is it just because, they gave us so many, they feel like they didn't have to give us working mechanisms on them? It made no sense. So that one comes with an extra magazine, and then we have his watch right here, which looks really good. It has a little face to it. Let me look at it a little closer. And really detailed actually on here. I don't know if I can zoom in for you guys, but you can see actually the watch face has like the Roman numerals for time, and it has like the fingers and everything. So this is a really detailed watch. Great prop, great accessory for John Wick. So I'm really, really happy with that. They did a great job on that. You could use this with other figures as well, so that's really cool. Sorry for my cuticles on my hands. I'm a fingernail, I guess, biter, you could say. Anyway, so then he comes with this AR. Again, disappointing, and I'll tell you why. Here's the AR. So it looks good, right? This is pretty good. Where's the detail? There's no gold, there's no silver, there's no nothing. The sculpt is 100% there. The magazine is removable. We like that. But the problem for me is that Gomez's guns, as well as most of the guns with any of the Gomez figures and even past guns with Punisher, etc., have removable scopes, removable stocks, barrels, extra clip. Like, it comes with so many things, and this one doesn't, which is a huge disappointment to me. I think Mezco dropped the ball again. They could have easily made it like this. I don't know what cost-cutting system they're trying to do, but they're basically, in my opinion, screwing the collectors out of getting these awesome accessories that we deserve because we paid so much for this figure. I think it is easily something Mezco could have done and should have done, but instead they took the easy route and decided to go cheap like a lot of cheap toy companies do, and it's biting them because all the collectors are not happy about it. I need to watch a video. I'm trying to get this piece that comes with the AR is supposed to like hold an extra magazine on it and then put it on this AR. So I'm going to look up the video or the instruction manual to do that because I don't want to break it. So I'm going to try not to break it right now. Next, he comes with, real quick, he comes with a knife. Again, exactly my gripe before. Why couldn't this blade be silver? Why couldn't the handle be brown, like leather grip? There's no reason for this to just be all stock black. This was obviously molded in black plastic and they just chose not to paint it. Yes, some stealth knives have a black blade. In fact, the blade I use to open my packages has a black blade. But there's no reason that there couldn't be some differentiation. There's no like completely solid black knives that John Wick uses. It could have easily been fixed and looked better. So that is just lazy on Mezco's part as well. Next we have the shotgun. Now, I am okay with this because although they're the only color differentiation here is the gray area of the stock, it does have a working slide. So that's at least a plus. I'm happy about that. I'm okay with that. That is something good. Is the working slide I'm okay with. That is no complaint. There's no extra magazine, but it doesn't really take magazines, so it's okay. So I'm not too mad about this, although there could have been more detail, silver dry brushing, whatever you want to call it. I'm not terribly mad at that. Next we have his last shotgun. This is just more of a traditional shotgun, although long range, and this has no working mechanisms whatsoever. Which again, how easy would it have been, just like in their past shotguns, to make this slide, although it kind of looks a little weird, movable. So easy, but they didn't do it. The only plus about this is it has obviously the shell on the side, and the gold, but that's tiny detail on this. You could have used so much more detail in all of these hand grip, these little incisions, I guess, in the gun to make it really look good. So again, disappointment is all I gotta say about this guy. So taking a look at a couple more items real quick. We'll take a look at the outside of the chest and then we'll get a look at the inside in a second, but here's the chest. Let's kind of adjust this focus a little bit for you. There we go. This looks good. It's definitely a plasticky material, so it doesn't feel super heavy or nice or anything, but it looks great on camera. This is definitely a good look. I'm not mad at this. This could be used for a pirate, for, you know, Popeye, or any, you know, pirates figures, or again, John Wick, obviously, for what it's used for. So we'll get all the accessories in that eventually. I promise we will get that. So taking a look real quick at, we'll just get some of the gun, just the AR, just to put in the effects in. Again, I'm doing this all in front of you guys. I haven't done this yet, so just bear with me. So trying to get all the gold coins come together, the grenades, and you know, there's a back shell to this, so you got to be very careful not to open it too hard, or all of this flies everywhere. That's what I'm worried about. All right. Now, let's take a look at the muzzle flare accessories. I don't think I have a snake light with me, so I have this. This should work. So we'll take a look at these. Is that two? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the first is our standard shotgun effect. Probably not supposed to go on this gun, but it still works, so here it is. Ba, 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 ba. So this looks good. Nothing wrong with this. If you light it correctly, again, it'll look good. Next, we have the standard pistol effect. This works on machine guns as well, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't look as good. So here's that. Again, if you angle it right, if you make it look right, it looks good. Obviously, you have the bullet tipped on the end, so that looks fine there. Next, we have the spray effect. We've gotten this before, but I don't believe it looked like this. It was a little more orange. I could be wrong, but we've got it with multiple figures. This is more the machine gun / Gatling gun type effect. You know, you can angle it different ways, but as the 3 bullets coming out, it's like a sweeping motion, so you're, you know, shooting across or shooting from up and down, like just kind of like this. You know, there's obviously some motion here, so you want to play with that in your photos. And then there's one effect I don't believe we've gotten yet. I could be wrong, but at least I don't own an effect. I don't own. I don't know if we got this with probably Gomez. We probably did or something. It's a little bent though, but it's basically the pistol effect on the shotgun effect. So you see a bullet at the end of it, but it's definitely more for an AR or some bigger gun. Probably not a, it's obviously not a shotgun because the shell is not, you know, it's just like a regular bullet. It's one bullet flying out. Probably not a Gatling gun, so I think this would definitely go with the AR of all guns, or a sniper of some kind. I think this is the best effect for that. So there you go. Again, I lit it with the Ulanzi. Uh-oh. It's not going well. Okay, cool. Be very careful, guys. Some of these gun effects can get stuck in your John Wick firearms or any other firearm, so always be careful with Mezcos to make sure that doesn't happen. Now we got a couple more accessories to go over real quick, and then we'll go over more of the figures. So the main accessories, we still have to go over the gold coins and the concussion grenades. I believe they're concussion or smoke, or there's some kind of tactical grenades. I don't know how to get them out of, I guess it's a clamshell, so I don't know where I'm supposed to grab. Oh, there we go. Okay. Be careful with this. Don't pop on me too hard. No, it didn't pop. Okay, we're good. So, these stacks of coins. These look good. I think these could, in my mind, the first thing I think of is obviously the John Wick movie scene, but mainly what I think of is the Joker. Sorry guys, I'm back, but anyway, talking about this guy, so these mainly are props for mobsters, I feel like. You know, gold coins on their desk would look really good, so I love these. And then he has his concussion grenades, which again, black detail, 100%. I think silver add-ons, anything would have been better than just the matte black with a little bit of gray on top. Look here. I think these are pretty terribly made. I think Mezco could have done a lot better. So I'm going to cut back to when I put all of the items in his chest, and I'll show you guys that, and then we'll talk about the sculpt of the figure as well. So guys, here it is, all the accessories inside their respective slots and everything, and this is a gripe of mine as well, I've realized. First of all, the coins stick in well, and so do the pistols. That's a good thing. The look is pretty much there, but the magazines, knife, and grenades don't stick in well at all. It's super hard to take out these two shells. The guns in the bottom don't stay put. They go in a weird way. They don't look good. I mean, this was a very simple thing they could have absolutely nailed. They would have redeemed the figure if this whole contraption worked really well. The guns were detailed like this. All these props would have honestly saved the purchase for me. Not the figure itself, but the purchase of the John Wick, because I can use this with other figures. These look good, and I still can, but I think they easily dropped the ball on an easy project they could have done. I mean, again, they misplaced They actually gave me 3 of the fat magazines for the small pistols and only 1 of the long magazines for these pistols, which sucks because now I have an empty slot there that looks really weird, so that sucks. And when you close this all the way and pop it open, this isn't closed all the way, but when you pop it open, all these accessories fly all over the place and you have to put them back together. So again, something easily that Mezco could have fixed, but instead they chose to take the cheap route and cut costs and cut corners and basically screw us collectors. And I love Mezco. I've always bought Mezcos. I appreciate Mezcos. They're some of my favorite, if not my favorite line to collect because they're so high quality. But I think Mezco's really been dropping the ball lately on their licensed products like John Wick, like Daredevil. Those products, they've really been cutting corners and cutting costs. That way they can give it all to Gomez. And although I understand because Gomez is their product and it's their company and they obviously give a lot to it and they don't have to pay licensing or anything, they can, you know, I guess, move the funds over to that and really develop that line more, so it's obviously better. But there's no point in doing that when you're just basically abandoning all your other licensed products. So very disappointing. But anyway, here's the dog, looking good. A lot of good details, silver here, everything. This looks all good on the leash. I love the white on the chest. The paws look great. Great paint, no articulation, which sucks. I would love if the tail could, you know, turn up or down so it looks like he's excited. If his head could move a little bit, that's all I ask. I don't need the feet articulated or anything, just the tail and head or just the head. But they made him static, which is still fine. He has good paint detail, but I'm still bummed about that. Next, only 2 accessories left are his alternative head sculpts, or his head sculpts in just general. Here they are. Both are they're way better in person, I will say. And the people who were photographing him when he first came out had no idea how to photograph. They were doing a horrible job, so we got some really horrible images. And although these 2 they're not fantastic at all. They still don't look a lot like Keanu Reeves. They're not terrible. They kind of look like John Wick, but not a lot. I think this could have easily been fixable if they went with the heads that they first showed off, and I think these don't look good. Specifically this one. This is obviously the worst one. The forehead looks way too big. The hairstyle doesn't even really look like John Wick. The face itself and the expression doesn't look like John Wick. This looks a lot better and a lot more like John Wick, although it's still not John Wick. So this is disappointing. Now let's take a look at the body itself and kind of how they tailored the suit and my overall thoughts on that specifically. Now, let's take a look at him. Zoom out a little bit. Here we go. So, taking a look at John Wick here like this. Let me tighten this and adjust the focus a little bit. There we go. Taking a look at John Wick like this. First of all, the tie. The tie is super fat for no reason. If you look at Gomez, if you look at a lot of other Mezco suited bodies, their ties are a lot thinner, they're streamlined, the vests are smaller. Like, this is horrible tailoring by Mezco. Horrible. I'm sorry, but Mezco's never done this bad a job on tailoring. And Boog said it, and I completely agree. This reminds me of a Soap Studio figure. And I love Soap Studios coming back, and they're doing some good stuff, but this looks like an early Soap Studio figure. How baggy it is, how bad the tailoring is, the soft head sculpt. I mean, I'm very disappointed. The buttons are sculpted, but there's no paint on them. The jacket with the shoulder pads is awful. It hinders articulation, looks horrible from the back. The tapering, the tailoring is awful. The pockets look at least decent a little bit by the I guess like left chest and the waist, but honestly just horrible tailoring. The legs look wonky mainly because it's a Joker body, though the pants do feel like they're very tailored. I think the jacket could have easily been changed to like the Gomez jacket to look a lot better, and I've tried that kit bash, and Gomez, it's a little tight on him. It looks a lot better than this jacket does, but it's too tight to really get any poses out of. I might try again, but for now, I'm just rocking the standard jacket. So, very, very disappointed in the sculpt here and the amount of just basically how baggy it looks. The Joker body would have even been fine if we at least got a good tailored suit, but we didn't. And that's what we've gotten before. So, let me grab our size comparisons real quick. You guys probably hate me because obviously I never have anything ready, but again, I'm still a new reviewer, so this is all a little hard for me to get everything ready. But here is the Mezco Joker figure. So same body with a suit, so that's why I have him here. So there these two are. And then if he can stand up, yep. And then here he is next to how you properly do a suited tuxedo type body. Here he is next to Agent Gomez. And Mezco knows this is how you normally do it. This is how you properly do it, but they still screwed us. So just look at the jackets for a second, guys. Look at the jackets between the two. Look how baggy, bunched up, and silly the John Wick one looks. And look how, although it doesn't have the pockets, it doesn't have the streamlined tuxedo look, look how much better it still looks. It doesn't bunch up. It doesn't look like it's super heavy and big and gets in the way of fighting. It looks slim. It fits the body. And look at the ties. Look at the ties. Here's the tie for Agent Gomez, and here's the tie for John Wick. If you guys can see that, look how fat that tie is and look how streamlined and small this one is. It makes no sense why they couldn't have done that. It makes no sense. This figure is perfectly tailored. They could have used this body, maybe, I don't know, maybe enlarge the waist or the pants a little bit. Developed a new buck that they could use for future molds that had double jointed elbows, similar to the Gomez body, but more for humans, I guess. So like less of roachy type of texture and a little more streamlined. They could have easily done that, but instead they chose not to. Now I think the pants on John Wick look a little better. They look a little more like suit pants, so that's nice. But other than that, I'm disappointed. Now taking a look at Joker compared. Joker, his jacket is basically the same as Gomez. It's different basically in like fit, I guess, but it still works with the body. Joker's jacket works with the body and makes the Joker body at least look good. The tailoring here is amazing. If you look at John Wick, it's awful. It's awful. And just to point out further, the pants look again better on John Wick than they do Joker. Joker, they bunch up, but come on, the jacket is just atrocious. I think the jacket is my main complaint. The vest looks better on Joker and allows for more range of motion than the one on John Wick. I mean, almost every part but the pants is completely atrocious. So I think there's really no redeemable qualities about him now. I think Mezco completely dropped the ball, and I think as collectors we deserve and have a right to be very disappointed with this release. Again, I've seen some photographers do him justice, D Amazing and Johnny Woo, who I both know a little bit. Both photographed him well, so they did him justice, which is nice, but it's pretty hard to do him justice. You really have to know your way around a camera and around a figure to be able to pose and play with this and make it actually look decent. I wouldn't say decent, make it look good, because this guy his articulation, he can't even get his arms all the way to his side because of the damn stupid shoulder pads, stupid jacket, and just his articulation in general. So that's awful. Again, from afar, this figure's not terrible, but close up, there's so many flaws about this that make it extremely hard to shoot. So a little section right now of a photography session I did with this figure will cut, and you guys will be able to see that, and then that'll be the review. Alright guys, taking a look at my final thoughts on John Wick, I think Mezco seriously dropped the ball on this one. I think they did a pretty bad job on the figure itself. They loaded us with accessories, although that doesn't completely make up for the abysmal they gave us. It helps greatly because we can increase the arsenal of our other characters that Mezco's actually done a good job on, whether it's Gomez or Punisher or Deathstroke or any of the weaponized kind of heroes or foes that they've given us. So that's at least a plus, but the head sculpts aren't as bad in person. However, the tailoring on the jacket is absolutely outrageous, egregious. Even with the limited articulation he has, he can get in decent poses, but a lot of that's ruined by how bad his jacket is. So I'm pretty disappointed, guys, but it's still a John Wick. It still kind of looks good from afar like this, so I don't know if I'm like super like, I think it's the worst figure ever, but I'm disappointed to say the least. I'm pretty happy with the setup though that I just showed you, that I just threw up together. This is a pretty cool set. Almost all the props that were made by me. I'm trying to think. The little props on the street here that you see were not made by me, but the icebox was made by me. The car was, again, made and painted is different. I painted all these accessories. However, the fire hydrant and the icebox were printed. I actually had this printed for me. This was by my teacher. He printed this for me, so I kind of did this one. But the icebox was printed by my man Justin, and I painted it up and added all the logos and stuff. And the stop sign over there is my prop. The car got off eBay, which was like a really cheap plastic car, but I painted that up myself. And so a lot of the work that you see before you was painted up by me. They'll be shooting a figures episode on this set where I do probably Punisher. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, watch my videos. I'm super happy with the content I'm producing. I can't wait to produce more for you guys, so I'm super excited about that. I'm working on a lot of diorama stuff as well as display stuff, so be on the lookout for all those. Follow my Instagram, Awan_Groundwalker. The link is in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.